Welcome to another episode of Noble Thoughts. This is our third installment of the show, proudly sponsored by the All Indiana Podcast Network. I'm Britt Noble. For years, I've wanted to create a space where people can share their experiences and perspectives because every voice matters. Wish TV also supports Real Talk. It's a youth driven media initiative where teens lead the conversation on topics that matter to them. I want to thank you guys for sharing your noble thoughts with us. We have members of the Real Talk team led by Kia Wright. Tell us a little bit more about how Real Talk came to be.
We were partnered with Office of Public Health and Safety for the last couple of years, and we used our Power and Promise platform to be able to help kids express themselves in a creative way. And this was just us expanding that platform. They have such good insight and such knowledge, and we just wanted to make sure that that got out to everybody.
And I want you guys to tell me why this is a good platform for you guys. Why is it important to share with us what's on your mind?
It allows me to be able to be a part of the change, be able to at least try to make a change. Also, it allows me to be an advocate for the youth. Just for me be able to also be able to relate to the youth, also have another perspective as the youth. So I feel like this platform is gonna have a massive impact on putting out the word and giving the feedback to certain adults and certain parents that need it to help the children and the youth. And I feel like it'll also show the youth that they're not alone and that we're in this together and that taking action is better than not taking action. And soon we're going to have to wake up one day and be like, hey, it's not going to change overnight.
The youth are picking the topics of the shows, and you guys have picked some serious topics. We've talked about gun violence before, we've talked about food insecurity. Today we talked about addiction. Why is that something that we need to have conversations about, Brooklyn?
We need to have the conversations about addiction because it's all too common within the youth of today. It's so popular with rappers and social media is just promoted like it's nothing, and it has lifelong lasting negative effects, and it does us no good because it's like nobody cares. It's promoted too publicly and too, we're exposed to it from such a young age, and then it's like nobody cares about the effects that it's going to have on us and the effects of the future generation.
You've been on the show for a couple years now. Tell me about the benefits. Do you think kids are really taking something away from this experience?
Yes, me myself, gotten a lot of help and support from being a part of Voices and being in the program. They helped me a lot. Even they helped me graduate from high school early, and just being that good role model and mentor that I needed to make the right decisions that I need to make in my life. I was very young, and I had to start making grown decisions, and they was the support system that I needed, and they helped me get to where I needed today. And I feel like a lot of youth need that support, and they can't get that support. So I feel like having this show and having this platform shows them like, hey, it's support out here that you really can get.
And Kia, you oversee this program and all the students. Tell us what students in the Circle City area can do to be a part of this show as well.
Well, absolutely follow us on all socials. Voices is absolutely a youth-driven program, and there's so many ways for young people to get engaged with us, whether that be through Real Talk, that could be through our mentoring services or Power and Promise. We just want to make sure that we are being responsive and as supportive, like Joel was talking about, that we can to young people in the city. Brooklyn alluded to, there's so much normalizing of things that's happening that I didn't even have to deal with growing up here in Indianapolis, and I think that once we start to believe and trust young people that they know what's best for themselves, then we'll start to see a lot of sustainability.
As we wrap up here, anything to say to other youth about speaking up and allowing their voice to be heard?
Speaking up, I definitely agree that the youth should speak up, but I also feel like the youth feel the need to not speak up. I feel like they wouldn't want nobody. They wouldn't. Nobody would want them to speak up. I also feel like the youth feel as if they're almost going against the world, but it's really just like a group of people that don't like you, and now you feeling like you against the world because your people's looking down on you, like, dang, why you into that? Why you doing that? So it's like the people that surround you in your environment, if they not giving you the support, it's almost as if they feel like they're going against the world, and they feel like they don't have nobody to help them. And that leads even more to worse, bad decisions, and even more bad mindset, and it leads to them not seeking help, to them not wanting support, to them just like, hey, this is the way it is. My own family don't want me. Why would anybody else want to deal with me? You know?
Absolutely.
So understanding that your family sometimes is not going to be there for you. You might need somebody that's not a family member that really is going to care about you and be there for you.
I will say to the youth that you never know who you're going to inspire. You never know what spark of creativity you'll give somebody. You never know the difference you will make. It takes one person can change the world. I truly believe that one person can make somebody's day better, and that person whose day was made better, they can make someone else's day better, and it's a chain reaction type of thing. So I say follow your gut, truly. You know what's wrong, you know what's right, you know what can help somebody else, so don't be afraid to help.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for sharing your stories with us and your thoughts on Noble Thoughts. And we will have to support Real Talk. Of course, you can go to the wishtv.com website and get more information about that. Again, thank you for sharing your Noble Thoughts. Thanks. For the past few Noble Thoughts episodes, I paused here to discuss sponsorships. But on this episode, I want you to check out my interview with an Indiana representative planning town hall meetings. I'm joined with a lawmaker, Representative Gregory Porter. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're busy. You're halfway through the legislative session right now, and it hasn't been easy. Talk to us about what you're facing here.
Right now, what we're facing, being in a super minority, it's very difficult to get legislation or our thoughts through the whole process. Our colleagues will listen to our thoughts. They think we have good thoughts. However, it's very difficult to get that into law or into a bill at this time. Being in a super minority, and they also have the governorship and everything like that. It's very perplexing at this time. I've been around for a while, and this has been one of the hardest sessions that I've ever been involved with.
So what happens now? How do people make sure that their voice is heard?
They can continue to do what we're doing, have our town hall meetings, or they can just call the State House, or they can even come down if their schedule permits them to come down and let their voices be heard. This is the people's house, and people got to understand you have a right to be here, and it's just like when you come here, just like being in your living room. You're going to have a conversation with those legislators.
And my pastor, Reverend Dr. Kenneth Sullivan Jr., recently led a town hall meeting at New Direction Church on the east side of Indianapolis. It's one of the many ways that he's using his voice to uplift and support the community. You are very, very passionate about creating a platform for people in our community, most especially on the east side of Indianapolis. Tell us about why there's a need there.
So there's a need, number one, because so many people are looking for a path forward, a way forward. And so that's why the name of our church is New Direction Church. We believe no matter where you are, you can get on the right track, the right path, and go even higher and progress. So we want to be an opportunity zone where people find space and opportunity, as you said, for their voice, for their talent, for their gift, so that their voice can be amplified and they can fulfill their purpose.
You've been pastor for almost 20 years now of this church, and it continues to grow. There's a lot of young people in your church as well.
Yes, it is a lot of young people, and so we're encouraged by that because I believe that the future belongs to the youth and the young, so we want to provide them opportunity to fulfill their purpose and become the future, the great people that they can be.
And so you're hosting a town hall meeting, a community town hall. Talk to us what that looks like and why it was on your heart to even host this.
Yes, as we've seen so many different changes in our culture and our community across the country as it relates to economics, as it relates to inflation, people losing their jobs, massive layoffs. policies that are impacting people. We want people to be able to come together and find a path forward collectively, to know where resources are, know what their rights are, and know how they can navigate this new normal. So that's really why the town hall. It's not just for people to vent and to express themselves. Certainly there'll be a space and opportunity for that, but we want you to have a plan after you kind of see all these things that are happening around you.
And this is not your first time having a town hall. Give us more details about what people can expect at the event.
So what people can expect is they can see different community leaders who come together from the business world, from of course the religious world, from um, the world of medicine, just all sectors of society. Our deputy mayor is going to be here. Others will be here, elected officials, civic leaders, who they can really kind of hear from and hear in layman's terms the language of what this new normal means in terms of policies. And in the state of Indiana, the city of Indianapolis, what they can do and how all of this stuff they see happening in the country is going to impact their everyday lives, and how can they really kind of move forward with all these things taking place.
What kind of topics do you expect community members to bring up?
Yeah, so I'm assuming and looking forward to, rather, people bringing up topics related to employment, their rights as an employee. What do they do with Medicaid? What do they do with Social Security? Is that going to be impacted? You have people who are in that age bracket who are concerned about that. What do they do with the rising costs of groceries? What are their options? Of course, we have a food pantry. So with all of these different things happening, we want to be able to touch every area of their life and also give them some assurance that we're thinking ahead as to how they can have these needs met.
What are you doing to help families in the area right now?
So one of the things that we do, one of our signature outreach efforts is our food pantry. So our food pantry not only serves once a month, we also have partnered with DoorDash. So we deliver food to people who can't make it to the food pantry. We also have a partnership with IU Health, where we have congregational care, where some of our members call people in the community who may be alone, may feel lonely. Some people may not have family or friends who are here. So we make sure we come alongside of them, reach out to them, just encourage them, let them know that they're loved, they're cared for. We also have grief recovery classes for people who have dealt with trauma, who've dealt with loss. That's important. And then we also have a substance abuse class where we help people who are dealing with alcoholism or other substances to have community so that they can break out of that. So those are some of the signature things that we do in terms of outreach. Of course, our 5 major signature events that we host each year: back to school, our Christmas extravaganza, what we do for Thanksgiving in terms of making sure people have Thanksgiving Day meals. All of these things are really kind of who we are. So we're a church that really believes in working outside of the walls of the church.
You know, I must tell you, my son enjoyed the Resurrection Day event so much so that he joined the church and got baptized.
Oh, wow.
And so I know that youth is something that you are really, really passionate about, and building healthy families. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think it's so important because I think we have a better community if we have healthy families. So that's what we're all about, making sure families are empowered. So I forgot about the Easter extravaganza. I'm glad to know that that speaks to someone as young as your son. And I remember that, but you just helped me to recall all of the details surrounding it. So families are very important to us because we know that you don't have a strong community if you don't have strong, healthy families. So that's why we want the church to be a place where families can come to, and then they get the tools they need to not just come together and clap their hands and worship on Sunday, but they can be effective and successful all throughout the rest of the week.
Well, let's go deeper. Not only are you trying to work to build healthy families, but you are also working with men.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things we're really, really encouraged by. We see about 60 men on average every Wednesday. And so we come together, we gather, we hold a discussion about Sunday's message. And it's a chance for them to let their hair down and be men and ask questions, express themselves. Being a barber, right? So I was a barber. So, you know, they say the barber shop is kind of the black man's therapy session. So now having that understanding as well, I think it gives me an opportunity to provide that same space and platform, back to platform and space, where men just feel like, man, nobody's listening to me. I got a question about what you shared on Sunday. Here's how it relates to my life. Then other men chime in and they share and exchange. And so it's our Iron Men ministry meeting that we do. As the scripture says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So it's that whole concept of us sharing ideas, exchanging information, encouraging each other so that we can all grow.
What is your hope for 38th Street? I mean, you mentioned the barbershop. You do have a barbershop on
Yeah.
campus. You have a daycare on campus. You have several businesses, and you're looking to grow. What do you hope 38th Street will
So
look like in a
again,
few years?
our dream is to really revitalize this entire area, to bring a renaissance. Of course, I'm always inspired by the Harlem Renaissance and from communities of old, such as Black Wall Street, Rosewood, other communities across America where African Americans coming out of slavery and post Reconstruction were able to build their own communities, and you saw those dollars rotate, and you saw that coming together to strengthen and build one another. So that's our dream for this area, to really build businesses and to have an area where you have African Americans that can kind of call their own. So they can come down here to 38th Street and get some good soul food, come to church. They can also get some of their healthcare needs met, where we'll have black professionals in particular who can care and treat some of their issues and some of the things that we deal with, therapists. So just everything from A to Z down in this area, housing, which we're working on with one of our properties here. And so just really a place where people can say, that's where my culture is, that in the city of Indianapolis. Arts as well, I don't want to leave that out, because when we talk about Renaissance, you can't talk about the Renaissance without arts. And so people who have your gift and your calling, how do we plug you in to where people are able to get up close and personal and learn and shadow you? And some of our young people who may aspire to go into journalism or use their gift of content creating can host their own podcast in the future. So all of those different things, I think, coming together, sharing our gifts collectively, that's what we want to see here on 38th Street, where you really have a sense of belonging and a sense of community.
What can we do to connect with you and support you?
So for sure, people can always connect with me, of course. I'm not hard to find right here at the church, but also they can connect with me online on social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook. I'm not on TikTok as much. I have a page. I need to do better. This will be my year to really get that going.
There you go.
But yeah, all those platforms they can reach me on.
Okay, and are you looking for any type of donations, or are you looking for any type of community support for the programs you have?
For sure, we can always use community support. We're always looking for people to come alongside of us. And the thing is, people can really see where their investments go with anything that we do. I mean, you can see it. So you don't have to question, you don't have to wonder. You're seeing it in real time. If we say this is what we're going to do, what we're going after, you get to see, okay, I gave to that. I see it come to pass.
Perfect. Dr. Sullivan, thank you so much for
Thank you so much
sitting
for the
down with me.
opportunity.
Yes, and sharing your noble thoughts.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Noble Thoughts. Remember, if you'd like to support this platform and allow people to share their stories to benefit our community, please contact me on social media, Be Noble TV. Have a great week.